Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tuesday Newsday. So sorry we had to push last week. Personal note, I lost my grandmother, so I was traveling to the States to be with family. I just got back to town on Sunday night, took yesterday to recover, so today's my first day back at work. So I'm still trying to play catch up on where things were while I was out, so I may not have answers for everything as much as I usually do, but I'll do the thing where I'll send questions off to people while we're live and hopefully get some of those answers back. In the meantime, I'm here once again with Chris Frye from Liya International. Hi, Chris.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me.
For those who don't know, Liya is the one that manufactures all of our battletech.
All of your battletech and shadowrun.
And then I think you're going to be doing MHA too, right?
We are doing it. My Hero Academia is already in the all the prototypes are almost done.
Awesome.
So we're working on it.
Also, you may hear whines and growls in the backgrounds. One of my dogs is being blocked by the other dog and cannot get to me, so he's bitching. But that's okay. Let's do a couple of news items, and then we'll get to our chat with Chris on lots of stuff today. So the first things I have for you are the links. I'm not sure if Dave is here yet, so I'll do the copy and paste as we go, so I'll be a little slower here. But the first one is for Battletech, lead the forces of the dragon to victory with the House Karita Command Lats, which is live. Oh, yay, Dave's here. Okay, cool. Yay, I don't have to do the copy. Thanks, Dave. I almost hit the button. You'll hear a lot less boops from me today. Continue the story of Tara Campbell in Jason Hansa's The Long Road. So that's out now. Mercenaries backers now have the Close Quarters audiobook available for download. And so the link to that backer update is going to be dropped in chat here. And take a vacation in the Magistracy of Canopus with Brian Young's Remains to be Seen. So there's that link as well. For Shadowrun, get the band back together for an epic comeback in Brian Young's Cortex Bomb. I'm excited to read some Brian Young Shadowrun. That'll be fun. Even influencers can run the shadows with Sean Hollins. I heart you, Shadowrunner. That's awesome. So check that out. Sean Holland actually has been in the Shadowrun community for ages, and I have some of my HeroClix minis from him, my Kellen Colt. Step into the Shadowrun missions with the Red Pill and join this awesome campaign. So there's that link. And get more of your latest Shadowrun source books and more with Six World Shadows. Or more with Six World Secrets, I think it is meant. Six World Secrets is allowing the Halo AR app to be used alongside books and our Dragon Scroll, so that you can get bonus content by scanning on your phone and seeing the AR like overlay for all of our artwork in the books for Deus Ex Arcana and Risks and Rewards and any future Shadowrun books. So really exciting. Catalyst General, take your friends skydiving with Parachute Panda. Make sure you are the last to the ground. If you haven't seen Parachute Panda, it's one of our top-selling board games the past couple years. We went to reprint within the first 6 months, which was huge. And it's really great to call that one out right now because it is by Mike Ritchie and Connor Coleman, who passed away just 2 years ago. And the anniversary was just the end of January. So great to support our Connor. Enjoy the coziness of the Lucky Griffin anywhere with the Quincy's Tavern mug. So we did the Guardians of the Four Winds is the board game. It looks like a book, so it's really cool for your shelf. And we released the coin, which is an artifact that you can use at your table for D&D games if you include Quincy and his lore into your game. And now there's the mug. So we'll be getting some The link is in chat, but Quincy's also been making some content, so we'll be posting and sharing that on our socials as well. Don't forget to sign up for the My Hero Academia crowdfunding campaign. Pre-launch page is getting dropped in the chat. And then join the Catalyst Game Labs Discord to find gamers for Battletech, Shadowrun, and more. So that is all of our links. And then real quick, I'll bring up the master schedule for you guys. So the usual disclaimer of these dates may or may not be accurate, but they're the closest I have. So let's see. The next thing I have releasing is the House Karita Rangerlands Force Pack on February 18th. Battletech Force Manual Mercenaries is scheduled for March 4th. And the Battletech Elysian Lancers Command Lance Force Pack, that was Barnes & Noble exclusive, and that should be ending in March, which means that it should be, oh, wait, no, I'm backwards. Released to Barnes & Noble in April 2026 and released to Hobby in October 2026. So that's the 6-month period. So that'll be coming to Barnes & Noble in April. The other item I have that I feel semi-comfortable talking about is April 18th is scheduled for Salvage Box Legendary Warriors. But then I have like a dozen things that are marked for 4/29 as a release date, and I don't believe that. So we'll have to see what's coming after that as this gets a little more ironed out. But that'll get you guys through April so far. Hey, Chris.
Hello.
Is there anything I said that you're like, that's not happening?
No. Actually, you list some things that are happening that you didn't mention. So.
Oh. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'm just looking at my production list over here, going, She don't know about that. She don't know about that yet. She don't know about that yet.
I might, like, I have a ton of stuff on the list here, but I just don't read ahead because I'm afraid of being wrong.
You know, and over the next several weeks, everybody shut down. Like, we shut down. So in China, the factory will shut down this week on Friday, and the last shipping container to leave us with CTLG will be on the 5th of February.
Okay.
And then we'll shut down until, basically the way it works in China is we'll shut down. They go on their national holiday. And this, for everybody to understand, in China, Chinese New Year is like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve for Americans, right? They just go, right? They're gone. And they go back home. They'll come back late February. It'll take about 2 weeks of training them on new equipment, anything like that. And then we're back up in full production, in March. And that's just a yearly thing that happens every year. So
cool. Also, I saw the comments about me sounding a little weird. It might be because my microphone was pointing behind me. So I'm on fire. All right. So, Chris, I know part of why we wanted to bring you on this week was to talk about, there's been some wonkiness with some people's product for aces. And I know you wanted to address that. You want to go into the story?
Yeah, so we had two oopsies on here. One was the Thunderbolt, which the Thunderbolt went through its normal prove-it process. There was some slippage on the tooling. So we make a tool, and then we put it in this machine, and it sits evenly like that. And during one of the runs, it had a slippage, which came online, which means the whole model had this leg issue that was on there. That affected roughly, it was like maybe 2% of all the packages that were on there. We basically remade that model from scratch, and we sent the Thunderbolt 2, 1,500 copies of it to, it's going to Catalyst now, and then that'll be available from their online store, and then at some shows too for people that want to exchange their model or trade them in or whatever it is they're going to do. But we made those samples there, and you'll see some pictures up there, the new ones. The gray copy is the final version of the old edition. The brown copy is what we call a polyurethane copy for you, and that shows you right before it goes in the tooling how it looks. And then there's another picture later on that shows the finished model and a blister, and I'll be doing a video on those too. And that's the first model.
I think Tyler, let us know if there's a way to let us know that of when you're going to do the photos, or if we should just cover those all together later.
It's already up there.
Oh, great. So both the mechs together, and now the Thunderbolt is up there. So we don't have access to see the immediate live where, and there's a little bit of a delay on YouTube. So cool. Okay.
And then the next one, which Marauder, there's nothing wrong with the model. What it was is that we never put anybody who's been with battletech for as long as we have, you never put your models on the side. It's always facing up, right? Somehow, because the box gap, because they had so much stuff in there, we used the traditional size box, and we thought, okay, we'll just put it on the side instead of making the box bigger. The problem was all of these boxes, the cartons that you see on the pallets, those go through a drop test that can handle it. They can't handle multiple weight packages on top of them if the structure's not there to support it. So what happened was any weight on those boxes for the Marauder squished the arm, and it bent the arm enough where it would snap. Okay, so those have been the new boxes for Aces will be 5 millimeters deeper to coordinate with the Marauder being in its proper facing forward position, so that won't happen anymore. And
so
those
for our
replacements
collectors
also
out there, you can have the 5 millimeter smaller box and the 5 millimeter bigger box.
Yeah, version 2 with a Marauder that is in a facing thing. So that could be a collector's item in 100 years. You know what I mean? Do you have the one that was on the side? Because those are very rare. Even the one with the broken arm? Yes, I have that one.
Yeah. But they should be largely fixable with glue, right?
Yeah, just basically snap the arm on the shoulder. So most people that were online just fix it with glue. But that's, again, not the way we like to present things, right? This is a box set that had 2 issues. We're always... I can't say this is for every manufacturer. I only speak for Liya. But what Liya is, when we make a mistake, we fix it. And to me, as a gamer and a modeler, to fix it is to replace the model. And we don't charge Catalyst for the replaced models or the tooling. We just paid for all that stuff. And then another thing we did was we adjusted our AQL, which is your quality lead. It's usually 2%. We went to 5% on the Catalyst stuff in there. We have a lot of checks, but it just... I want to take the Aces hit myself on a Thunderbolt, because generally I will check the files myself and look at the links, and I just didn't. My fault for not double, or that would be actually a quadruple check because everybody else does. But we just missed that slippage on there. It should have been caught. And that's it. Those things are in the water, or they'll be picked up no later than February 5th.
Okay. And so what that means for us guys is, as Chris said, they like to make it right. So they've printed 1,500 copies of both of those mechs. Yeah. And they're going to send them to us at Catalyst so that we can do a couple of things. First of all, we're going to put them online. So if you have an issue, we'll be able to, like, if you buy something else, we can ship you one with it. If we can't, you know, my train of thought just left me. But customer service is also a good place to reach out, and we can replace it there. The other thing that we'll do is we're going to be taking them to trade shows. So like Gamma is coming up, and there'll be retailers there. So if a retailer happened to get a shipment with a bunch of those and has been getting that, we can give them a bunch for them to make it right for their customers. So we'll be doing that for, and like you said, it's like 2% of them. So,
well, it was roughly, the error rate should have been less than 2% on the Marauder or the Thunderbolt. The Marauder is unknown because some boxes didn't have the breakage. If for some reason the Marauder, which was 40,000 units got done on Aces, if there is more than that for some reason, we'll send it. It's not a big deal to us. We'd rather fix the problem than that's just how we are.
Yeah. So we're getting fixes out to anyone that was affected. Just reach out to us at store@catalystgamelabs.com if you're affected, and we'll get you taken care of. So, hooray!
And another thing. There are some other options maybe happening in the future in Aces. When we do like the next Aces boxes, we might put a fix in there too.
Okay.
Just because it's not a big deal to us to slip a bag of unassembled Marauder or something in there. We're just trying to look at other options. So.
Rogue Marauder added to the box. That's awesome.
Yeah, just
Awesome. Cool. So you also sent me some photos of stuff. Let me find all my Chris Frye emails here. Okay, so that was the Thunderbolt that we talked about. Chris You went to China recently, right?
I did. I did for 10 days in December.
And you sent me some pictures of food.
Yes, I did.
Yes. So let's get some of those pictures of food up there, Tyler, and walk us through this, Chris.
So, and I also did a food video because I'm doing a factory tour. So I went to visit our factory, and I've been working with our team for 8 years now. And I saw them before COVID, not afterwards. They know I like to eat. Anybody that knows me knows I like to eat. I love it. And so they wanted me to try a new experience every day when we travel to the different series, because you have to see our partner factories. And I'll explain more partner factories later on. So that went from being one a day where they were like, oh, no, that's not enough. We're going to take you to lunch and dinner. And so every time we went out every day for 10 days, I had 2 meals at a new restaurant, never ate at the same place twice. So because these are new, a lot of these, I actually had them tell me the names of it. So when I got home, I could try to duplicate things. There's certain ones were just, like I had eel, an eel-based rice that was awesome. I did see it. I rarely saw white rice. Okay. Everything is flavored. Everything has food in it, or meat in it, right? Everything's, chicken, beef. I mean, it's a lot of pictures you see the rice, there's hardly times as you're going to get plain rice. You're going to get that as like, here's your plain rice, but look at what we've done with this other combination of seasoning, spices. I mean, the video I posted is there's probably 50 pictures of food in there for 10 days. And I didn't even gain any weight, which is really surprising with all I ate. There's awesome. Some cool things in there too.
I see the brown sugar steam bun, and I'm ready to book a flight to China. So
yes, that was so they don't, and I got this from my fiance, and I don't know if it's a Asian wide thing, but I've noticed that like in China and Indonesia, they're not big on sweets. Like in Indonesia, you go there, the ice cream is like a rule, it's a delicacy. Well, we'll have ice cream every day here. In China, no dessert menus, no sweets. That's just part of the meal, So the brown bun. There was a couple other things where I got where it's just part of the meal comes out. It's a little bit of a sweet, but not a big. You're not getting ice cream and sundaes and root beer floats and brownies for dessert. You're getting, So wow. It was beautiful.
Awesome. All right. Well, tell us about the factory tour, and I know you've got some videos you're going to be posting and stuff like that. Walk us through some stuff.
So the first video I posted was about the food. What my goal was, I had a meeting with the company. Most of you guys have heard of Asmodee, so I was flown over to meet with them. And I had a couple other factory things. So we own our own factory, and one of the things that let's educate some people, as I love to do. Everybody will tell you they do everything in a factory. It's not true. Right. And when you see my second video, you're going to see some highlights, and I might actually narrate that one. So we do all the plastic and painting in our factory. Mold making goes to another facility. So we make the tooling, or we make the PU copies and 3D printing and all that. Then we'll send it over to a mold factory. I went and visited that factory and watched. It's a small factory, but they're all, chiseling away, trying to make the right mold shape before it goes to casting. And then we went to another factory that was a tray factory, and all they do is trays for us. Massive sheets of trays, and I've got pictures of me standing in these huge stacks of trays for battletech. Interesting though, that factory actually makes candles as well.
Oh.
And so while I was there, they were showing me some plastic cups, and I said, oh, we can make those cups for you. And so we negotiated a deal where I can make cups for them, they're making trays for us. So it's kind of like, that's how it works in China, right? Then we went to our box factory, which is the one that does the outer box printing. And then we went to a printer that handles all the print work. So when you ever see me post a video that says printing partner, it's generally those guys. And they make all the prints for our catalyst stuff, the cards, the shadowrun, all that stuff. Okay. And they're actually the same printer that did Leviathan from your other factory you worked with for Leviathan. Because I saw that. And they're like, oh, you do this one. I'm like, nope, we skipped that project. So we do this one. And then we went, there's like 6 more factories in there, dice factories, went to a resin factory, another printer, and I got to see a couple plastic factories we compete with because they didn't know who I was. They were told I was a guest from a factory, another company. So I got to see what we were up against work-wise,
Oh, wow.
which was nice. And then there was no time for sightseeing this trip, so other than seeing a mall, which was huge, yeah, that was it. I just every day was factory time, and and I got to see my team with some new equipment. We got some new automated arms for the tooling department and some new paint equipment that will be debuting over the next year.
Cool. Now the next link I'm going to drop in the chat is your video for the Timberwolf new packaging. I had mentioned this a couple weeks ago that one of the things that's going to be coming out is the same Timberwolf, the C scale from Mercenaries, but for retail. So it needs to be in a box that isn't the brown cardboardy thing. So I'm dropping that link in chat now for you guys. Anything you want to comment on for that packaging?
Yeah, so you're going to start seeing this more mainstream around here with a lot of the Thunderbolts. A lot of that came from Gen Con last year when we looked at the Atlas, which the Atlas is a different situation because it's multiple Atlases in one. But we realized that the Thunderbolt just doesn't really sell off the shelf when it's a brown box. And of course, Randall and Lauren and Mike, they all want the best out there. And we're like, yeah, it's easy just to swap new artwork. And so they just did that, and you'll see that in the video.
Okay, cool. Another one I've got is Comstar Command Level 2.
Yep, that's a restock that I just left their new release.
Dropping that in chat. And then the last one you sent me was the second Star League Assault Lance. So
Yep.
What will people find in these videos?
These are just videos, as always, they're just videos of the team assembling the models, or not assembling, they're just packing the models. So another part of our department assembled them, now they're just putting them in the tray, showing them they're ready to go and get shipped and picked up.
Okay. And you guys have a new website as well, right?
Yeah, we updated the website finally. I couldn't access the old one, so I just redid the whole thing. And we realized that a lot of the stuff I had done on the old website where I wrote articles and stuff for people to read, no one ever read them. So we went more of a flashy video photo on this website version.
Cool, okay. I'm kind of clicking back and forth between all the links and everything, and I see Billy says those factory vids are strangely calming.
So it's, if you don't mind, so you know how we have the YouTube algorithms, right? Or analytics. That site's like 470 something. This is not meant to make money. It's not to do anything like that. But I still read the comments. I still go through and I read it. And the playthrough on videos is almost 100% for over 60% of the people that are watching it, where they just watch the whole video. And then there's replays where it looks like people are just going through the playlist and just playing each video over and over again, which makes me wonder if it's the music that's there, because it's not the pictures. I mean, they laugh when they hear that we're watching pictures of them assembling legs. I'm like, no, they love that stuff. Like we did, I can't remember which one it was. It had like over 4,000 views. People were just like, and wait till they see the My Hero, because now my team actually went and got, we'll have some videos where there's 2 videos in one. And he's got all this new equipment that he bought because he is enjoying making the videos. This one is, they just put it on a tripod and send it down the trail that you're going to see right now. And then they're sped up. So just so you know, from time to time, instead of making a bunch of little videos, I'll take 11 minutes or 12 minutes worth of videos and I'll make them into a 6-minute video. Yeah. So they're not working this fast. They are very casual, very laid back. Somebody's like, you got to tell them to slow down. Like, they're not, that's me speeding up the video. That's not them. Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
Oh, Tyler is playing the video and speeding it up. I know you guys can't hear him, so we just stop awkwardly while he talks to us. So.
I was like, he just said that, and he's like, okay, now I understand. So
yeah. Sometimes Tyler talks to us, and then we just stare awkwardly, and nobody says anything. So I try to fill the gap as Tyler's giving us news.
No.
So he sped it up a little bit too. Awesome. Okay. Well, what else do you want to cover, Chris? Because we are getting a lot of questions in chat, so I'm happy to switch over to Q&A or let you take anything else that you want to say.
No, everything. I mean, just clarifying up that, hey, the workers, there's sometimes there'll be negative chats in there. What you used to think about China workers in the old days isn't what China workers is nowadays. They have their own little government unions. They get paid really well. On average, if you can exchange their currency where it's $1 worth 7 of their dollars, they're roughly making 20 to 25 bucks an hour with us right now in American dollars, which is really good for them. If you watch the videos, they're all dressed in nice clothes, they eat well. We will be moving to a new facility, and that you'll see some videos of that too, where everybody's moving to new facilities. In certain areas of China, a building has a lifespan of X amount of years. Once that expanse hits, the government makes them take the building down, and they have to build a new building. And that's why you'll start seeing a lot of these companies moving to bigger buildings, or there'll be more of a, like one building was in a tall warehouse that had, 30 floors, and they were on floor 9, 12, 13, and blah, right, stuff like that. We won't do something like that because we need to be more ground central. But yeah, you'll see some changes over there. A lot of industrial innovation in the infrastructure. So and that's all I had for that. So thank you.
Awesome. All right, let's jump on over to Q&A. Like I said, guys, I'll try to switch between stuff that maybe Chris can answer versus stuff that I might need to get from some of the team and send them a message for. So let's do for our guest. First question is, will Chris be at Gamma Expo?
Yes, I'll be at Gamma and Gen Con this year.
Awesome. Okay. And then retailers can come talk to you and hear about the process. And awesome.
Yep. I will not be at Adepticon. I couldn't get a booth this year or a badge, an exhibitor badge. So I'll be skipping a Adepticon unless I go as a normal person. So
awesome. Okay. Hey mods, the first question that's under battletech has some abbreviations I don't understand. I don't know if it was shorthand. Can you guys expand on that before I ask that question? Psychcath asks, what is Legendary Warriors salvage box? What does that pull from? Do you know the answer to that?
I did not know what that pulls from.
All right, let me I'll send it to Randall and see if he's around to answer some questions. On Tuesday Newsday, questions. What is Legendary Warriors salvage box? All right, we'll see what he gets back to me on. What else do I have? Chris Merwin says for Chris, I have to say I feel like mold lines have gotten better on more recent models. Was this a result of design, experience?
It was a mold slip. It was a mold slip. The actually molded machine had a slip when it was injected.
No, not for that mech. Just in general, mold lines have gotten better on the.
Yes, there is a lot. A lot of that comes down to us pushing back on our team saying, hey, this is not a proper place to put a mold line. This isn't the best place to put this. And so we're working back with them and showing them some examples. And it's kind of, robots are really, we can do organics all day long. Organics are little tidbits like chicken terrain. You can do those all day long. They inject 120 some on a mold. But robots with their straight edges make it a little bit harder, and then they like to put mold lines, and so just again, experience and then feedback is always good.
Okay. This should be a fun activity for us, Chris. We have some questions on timetables for releases that have been announced. But I'm thinking maybe between you seeing what's on your timeline versus what's on my sheet, we can see how accurate that might be for the actual release. The first one is the Leopard dropship.
1 second. Pulling up my project tracking real quick.
And I'm going to try to find
Leopard
it in my
dropship
plan here. Oh, I found it. I found it on mine.
So what are they saying on yours for Leopard dropship?
Mine says June. But that would be after manufacturing plus shipping.
It's looking at June, July for sure.
Okay.
So they just did one last bit of modifications on the it's a beautiful model. They just did a couple of modifications this week, which means it hasn't gone to tooling, 45 days for tooling. I'm thinking July.
July is when you would finish, or we would get it?
No, you would get it for street date. So any date would be street date. Would be July. Okay. I think July would be a good time for that.
So
might luck out on June because they just haven't started. Now we're shutting down for 4 weeks or 3 weeks. Yeah, it's going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look at us playing this. I kind of like this. This is fun. All right. What else do I have here? I have Release estimate for Gothic Abominations. Gothic. I have July for that one.
I'm thinking July still too. We just had to finish it. We fixed some issues with the automation models, and they should be in July.
Okay. All right. So tentative. Caveat, everyone. Tentative for July. What else do I got? When is the release for the Lao Force Pack and Celestials? So that's 2 of them. So let's start with Lao. Let me see. Might need to do a search. I don't have Lao on this spreadsheet. I have Force Manual Lao as a possible, but that's not coming until like next year or something. So
I could say they're not coming in before Gen Con unless we get them right away. We don't have those files.
Okay, so not in the next 6 months, guys. And then Celestials, do you have anything for them?
Nope. Unless they have a different name. They're not in
Oh, that is far off. Like they're putting some stuff in that have been like mentioned, but like really far off. So like this is like a couple years out, according to my sheet. Sorry to tell you, CBT books. Question for Chris: can you share how many salvage boxes you've made in total for CGL?
That's an answer I can get back to you guys later on.
Okay.
It's not something I would have. I know we got over 9 million models for you guys in the last couple of years.
I want to say like the last order was over 500,000, so it's got to be a ton.
Yeah. Yeah. So total salvage boxes.
Yeah. So we'll have to get that answer back for you guys.
So I will say that we could probably math this out real quick. I mean, I can't talk about restocks, but generally the last 2 times they've ordered like, it was like 90,000 of the displays themselves. Okay. So multiply that times, there's 12 in a box or 9 in a box. So there you go there. And then, so 987,000. And then the other salvage boxes, usually it's like 25 to 50,000 on those 2. And again, times 9. So yeah. 4.5, or 450,000. So
millions. So plastic mechs.
So for Asmodee alone, we've done 5 billion injections for them. Multiply that by 50 or 120, depending on what screw we use, in the last 6 years. And with you, Randall give us the numbers, I think, in Gen Con, and it's like over like 9 or 12 million models we've made for you guys. So yeah, we are high capacity when it comes to miniatures. So.
Okay. Someone clarified that question for me. Thank you, guys. It said GA, which is general availability. I was like, is there another battletech like abbreviation? I don't know. All right. So the question is, when do we get the Somerset Strikers Force Pack for general availability, which was a Mercs add-on Force Pack? Let me see if I have Somerset. I have, yep, that's still on my list for last year, so I don't think that's accurate. So we'll have to check on that one for you. I don't have that one for you, unless Chris,
and that's
do you have
not in my system. Yeah. Not in my system.
It might have just been. I
didn't check down here 1 second. Beginner. So we have, my sheet shows me different phases. So yeah, I don't see those in the lower ones.
I sent it to Randall because he'll know.
Randall knows everything.
Aladine11 asks, "Hey guys, I have a question regarding Resurgent Empire's board game. Will the miniatures in the box be made by Liya and be compatible with the tabletop, or is it going to be Topps 100% house-made product?" Topps doesn't do anything for us. So that would be. I don't know if we're even far enough for Randall to have mentioned this to you. Do you know?
No.
Okay. It's a board game. I think it used to have a different name before it was named Resurgent Empires. But I'm blanking on what that is. But I know that's still in design, so you probably haven't even gotten the request for that yet. No. So I think that's... But it will be compatible. It should be compatible because we try to make things cross-compatible for the miniatures. So.
And as far as us getting the project, it just depends. Usually printing stuff we don't do. Plastic we focus on a lot of.
Yeah. The board game pieces might be someone else, like the board itself, but miniatures would still probably be Liya.
It could be, depending on what the cost is and stuff like that. Liya's not a cheap manufacturer. We are not the cheapest in the market, but you're paying for additional services and quality control and stuff like that.
Right.
And higher detail models. So we'll see how that goes.
Any chance you can work on getting us some detail on the release plans for this year? Yeah, I've been trying. Part of the issue is that we have a new sales manager, and so he's been learning all the ropes and everything. He's gotten, like I said, he's gotten a base master schedule, and some of it is accurate and some of it isn't. So I just don't feel confident enough in its accuracy to talk, far down the line. I feel it's fairly confident in the next 3 months, but we'll keep getting that stronger and stronger as we go here. Lambelch. I am Belch. What is the biggest thing that delays shipments and makes things later, in your opinion, Chris?
Twofold. One, the biggest delay that could cause any project to side rails if it's an IP project, right? So it means that somebody owns a license to it. Like, look at Street Fighter from Jasco we did. That was probably an extra year just in approvals. That wasn't expected. And that's kind of why you're seeing the difference in My Hero Academia, where we're getting approvals first, and then it'll go live for Kickstarter. So that means all the models, like 38 models, the majority will be pre-approved, which means they like the sculpt, they like the paint job. We don't have to go back and forth. Street Fighter was back and forth on that. The second thing that delays is, in the last few years, I'll have to say, outside environmental impacts, which being anything the government does or the environment does, I would have to say tariffs is another reason things will get delayed out there. People are... That was going to
be my answer.
Yeah, so one thing that, I don't want to bring up their names, but there's a couple of our partners, publishers, that have just stuff in storage for months waiting for tariffs to come out. Because you remember, especially these crowdfunding projects, we don't go after a lot of crowdfunding projects. They get X amount of money. So I get like $100, right? Let's just say I have $100. And crowdfund's going to, they're going to take 20% off that, the government's going to take a bunch off that. And then there's this much left. Well, then all of a sudden, if you randomly add tariffs in there, and again, tariffs are not on the MSRP, they're on the actual manufactured good. And we only mark our invoices for products shipped. We don't put that on, that's a separate billing for like tooling and other things that aren't tariffable. So we try to reduce that price in there. Let's just say something costs you $4 to make, and then you're adding another, 50% tariff on top of that $4 invoice stuff. That's $2, that's $6 now, right? Because that's what they're going to look at, the 50% of what the actual true manufacturing cost was. They didn't get that money in Kickstarter, and so they can either bill you, the user, for a tariff fee, or absorb it. And a lot of these younger companies that are new can't fork that bill.
Yep. They
just don't have the reserves. CGL, I know for a fact he's paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in tariffs. And just been like, okay, I just got to get the product to the people instead of letting it sit in the warehouse. He's like, nah,
But I also know that there have been times too because like we last year we had we were on top of the release schedule for the first, maybe it was the end of the year before. Time is weird, but we were on top of all of these releases coming each month, and I know things just stopped because it was like, here's a new date that they're putting out there that tariffs might change. We got to wait and see what happens.
So 2 years ago, go ahead, I'm sorry.
It does still, as dates come up and stuff, it does still impact our decision making too.
Before that time that you mentioned, there was 2 times you guys shut down or slowed down. One wasn't with tariffs. One was shipping containers. We couldn't get any shipping containers because what was happening is the boats would get dropped off in America or Europe. They drop the containers off and they'd go right back out to get more product from China or Vietnam. They wouldn't pick up empty containers. So there got to a point where there was no empty containers in China.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was when your first your release schedule went down, it was because of shipping containers, not because of tariffs. Because there was just nothing there. And it was like, you guys have to quit coming back empty. But because it would take them a week to reload, they're like, I could be halfway back to China for another load that makes me money. Because they don't make money on empty containers, they make money on full loads.
Well, they can't make any money if they don't have the containers to fill.
Well, at that point where there was so much stuff backlogged, they thought they were fine. And again, we see containers on the side of the freeway. We see them all over the place. Other than yards, I didn't see huge yards of containers in China. We were in the industrial section and we went down by the port, and it was mass containers. But yeah. So yeah, that was another reason. And I call that an environmental impact too. That those things are because we have to be. Go ahead.
I have a question for you, actually. So we were just talking about this in the directors meeting earlier, where we have like these at conventions, we have this cardboard display that we can set up for fiction books, and literally it fell off the truck and got run over multiple times. So like, gotta order another one. Like, how often do you see that kind of stuff happen where it's containers falling off a truck or off of a ship, or like just shrinkage like that?
The first one, and this is for the old people in the chat, was the first time I saw it was when the Eldar for Games Workshop flat grav tanks fell into the ocean. Other than that, I've seen it happen twice in probably 20 years, where something of ours would fall off.
Okay.
Yeah. Generally, I would have to say our industry has been very lucky with product not falling off as much as product's been falling off into the ocean. So.
Man, I wonder, that's a lot of treasure in the ocean.
I actually would say no for some. Well, it depends on what it is, because let's take our games, right? All of our stuff is long-term biodegradable in salt water, right? Except for plastic, right? And maybe resin. All that paper is just going to, eventually the salt water is just going to root it all up. They're just going to open a container and be like, what's this, resin dice? Or what, like maybe stockpiles of that. But yeah,
Well, I'm sure there's Games Workshop fans that would go diving for for Eldar salvage.
A whole container. Yeah. They redid the model, I think so.
And then they'd be all rotten and everything, but sell for thousands on eBay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go back to everyone else's questions.
So you can sell for MSRP. So okay.
Is the clan Firestar on its way?
Didn't I just post Clan Firestar a week ago? Let me look at shipped items real quick. Clan Battlestar.
Yeah, I see Battlestar too.
Star. Yeah. I don't see.
Yeah, I don't see anything either.
Nope, sorry.
What else do I got? When is the next salvage box restock?
Picks up on. It already got picked up, so it's on water. There's another restock already on water.
So soon.
Yes.
How long does it take for things to cross the ocean?
So it's a multi-stop thing. So you got usually 4 to 6 weeks to go from Asia to LA port. Then it's going to get on a train and go over to, I believe, PSI. And then PSI from there distributes to the different distributors around the United States and Canada. Gotcha. So you're talking 8 weeks once it's picked up.
Okay, so about 2 months.
Yep.
Aster asks, will there ever be a way to order single mechs or custom bunches of designs?
Never say never. Anything's possible, right? I don't see it being done in this current system.
Yeah.
Because everything's so one box is 5 models. So they would have to buy a bunch of loose models and then ship those in baggies. And then that would be a nightmare. And that really I would question. I used to work with e-figures that worked with the War Store and Bits department. for those that remember it, it would be a logistical nightmare to do all the miniatures and do them single pack. That'd be a 2-person full-time job, and I don't know if that would generate enough revenue for BattleTech to make that work.
Yeah. I based on what I know about the warehouses and stuff right now, I don't see that being a possibility in the near future.
Well, one of the guys here just said too, it's also, this is with every game, and I worked at Private Press too, and BattleTech, not BattleTech, Battlefront. It was really bad at Battlefront. SKU bloat is a real thing. So the more SKUs out there, a store can only carry so much product, right? They're only going to honor so much product, and right off the bat, they want the new releases and maybe the top 20. Everything else is bloat, and so that's where the website kicks in and says, "Hey, get these extra, models here." But who knows? Anything's possible, right? So,
I did get some answers back from Randall. Let's see here if any of these makes sense. Okay, so the first question was about what is Legendary Warrior Salvage Box. We've taken the Clan Invasion Legendary Salvage Box and the Mercenaries Legendary 2 and 3 Salvage Boxes, and I love his typo, combined them into a single new Legendary Warriors Salvage Box series. It's just a reprint, but rebranded to combine the previous 2 sets into a single new set.
Combined. I like that. That's
yeah.
Combined. We're going to combine this and combine that. Yeah.
When do we get the Somerset Strikers Force Pack to general availability? He said that should be part of the reprint on the water now, but I should check with Paul, who's our sales guy, to see if he knows where it's at. So I can do that. I don't have Paul's, I'll have to text him. We're not on Discord. But I want to, if I can get you guys the answer in the next 7 minutes, I'd love to. Summer set Force Pack on the water when arriving. Releasing. Cool. I'll see what I can get you guys. And the snark, by the way, the moderator chat for YouTube says skew bloat is a thing. Mercenaries. Okay. So another question I have is, this is Red Feather Workshop. Will the Union and Overlords be restocked anytime soon?
Yes, both are on the water.
Both are on the water. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right, a couple of extra random questions that I've gotten. I think this is from Michael. Can you talk briefly about the new backer update process? So Michael and CJ is our customer service, and Michael is our marketing associate, have been busy on the Kickstarter pages with responding to comments, messages, and focusing on getting backer updates out at least every 2 weeks. So we've been doing reviews, we've been passing them the info from platforms and stuff like that. I do know, just random, but as I've been checking my email, because I have 300 to catch up on from being out last week, I know that the snowstorm last week did slow down platforms fulfillment. So they are in the middle of Mercs right now, and I think that they something like lost a week because of the snowstorms and stuff. So just be mindful of that. Jaren Kell, sorry if this was already asked, but did they say when the website for BattleTech is getting restocked? There's a ton of reprints on the water now, so it should be soon. And we're getting more and more SKUs on the new store website. Each week we're trying to get new stuff up on there. So Kickstarters, Burkham's asked, what is the status of Clans canon characters? So I'm trying to get we need a solution. So here's, for those that don't know, I've talked about this a couple times, but basically Clan Invasion, the pledge manager that was used was called Crowdox. Crowdox was purchased by BackerKit. And so when that all happened, we lost access to being able to run reports through Crowdox. So we have to ask BackerKit to run those reports. So because of canon characters, I have opinions. So basically, not only were canon characters a thing on Kickstarter, they were then a thing in CrowdOx. They were then a thing in BackerKit. Then there was the Google Doc of 50 questions that came out, and all of that has to. Oh, and then there was the upgrades if you wanted to get the artwork done and stuff like that. So there were all of these options and all of these different exports that need to be done. And we have a lot of those reports, but we don't have them. The only report we don't have is the master export from CrowdOx. And as you guys know, in Pledge Manager, when you guys go into your Pledge Manager, you can add on a lot of extra things or even remove them and get a credit for it. So we have requested that report from BackerKit multiple times, and their CrowdOx system, whatever they have, crashes out anytime they try to run that report. So we cannot get that report. So we have sent out a survey for a lot less questions to get some of this rolling. But there may be things like, do we keep it going, but know that like there may be people missing and just put out a communication like, hey, if you aren't on this list or something, like how do we communicate that without giving away people's info? But also like, do we just like, how do we do this? What do we do about this? And that has been a lot of back and forth between us and BackerKit and trying to find if there's another way we can pull this data and get the solutions and stuff. But I think like at this point, my opinion is like, all right, well, assuming we cannot get that file, what do we do? Because there are going to be people affected, and how do we track that? So that's it's not really a status, it's just where we are, and that's part of the conversation that needs to be had. We're trying to finish clearing up mercenaries, leviathans, and takedown, and that'll give us some brain space for getting the solution for plans. Let's see, any last minute questions pop up in the last 2 minutes of chat here?
I saw one earlier.
What'd you see?
So somebody asked that taking the normal scale and moving to C scale is a complicated process. It takes our guys about 4 or 5 days to modify something from a smaller scale to a bigger scale, and then there's a bunch. Then it begins going through the normal process as regular models. But we usually do those in house. We are hiring another guy that's a designer, so we're going to try and add more features to the C scale model so that they have a lot more detail with more space.
Cool. Two more questions I'll get to here. The MUL, we did have Aaron on a few weeks ago, and it is getting ever closer, but he is captain of the soon TM, and so it's getting closer, but it's not quite done, but it should be soon TM. And then Andrew, I did hear from Randall that we are not going to be able to do a booth this year at UK Games Expo. I am still trying to see, because there are some trade shows right around, like the Asmodee retailer show, and then Asmodee Nordics in Denmark is like right before and right after UK Games Expo. So I'm going to see if I can at least go and do a walkthrough and say hi to people and take meetings and shake hands and kiss babies or something like that. We will not have a booth there, but I'm hoping to get at least someone out there to represent Catalyst. So stay tuned on that. All right, guys, it is 5 o'clock. So save these questions for next week. I really appreciate you guys and all of your questions and enthusiasm. Chris, thank you so much for being here.
No problem. And it's a force faculty answer for him.
Oh, okay. You're answering some questions at the end there.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here. We will be back next week. I'm not sure who we're having on for visits. It's going to be dependent on releases, but I am working to get our sales team on. I know Ross is on vacation right now, but maybe I can get Paul, who does our domestic sales. So hopefully we can get him on in the next few weeks, and then Ross when he gets back, and any of our new upcoming releases we can get someone on to talk about. So thank you guys for being here. We'll see you next week.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.